Welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. This is another Monday, the 12th of July to be precise, 2021. I'd like to welcome you to the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi Aitayo, and we are streaming this show from Lagos, Nigeria to West Africa to Africa, and of course to the entire world. If you just joined us, I'd like to welcome you officially to the Good Morning Education Show. You know how we do it. It's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. And of course, if it is your first time experience on the show, please do let us know. We have what we call the bell of blessing. We're going to ring the bell of blessing for every first timer on the show, and we look forward to a great experience together. Please do not hesitate. Do not hesitate to tell us your location, tell us your name, tell us what you do if you don't mind. Also, share your questions, share your ideas, contribute in the conversation of the day. We're going to be having a great time on the show. And please do not forget, this show is always every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And it brings about the best conversations within and around the world of education. On the show, we spend some time to look at the headlines. Of course, yes, news in the world of education is very important to us, and our analysts share their views on that. And then we'll take some time out to talk about the grant for the day, and then we'll move on to the conversation of the day. Every day on the show, we always have conversations on subject matter that I believe will help us to learn more, become better, do more within the world of education. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Good Morning Education Show. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so today. Like our videos, share our videos, connect with all our analysts, connect with Fini Falodu, connect with Titi Adeusi, connect with Judah Shedu, connect with Odetola Ebenezer Israel, connect with Safety Chick, the only Safety Chick, and then of course connect with KK, who we call One Woman Republic, that's okay Fragile. Connect with Dr. Bimbo Ogundere, connect with Rhoda Odigbo, connect with her on the show, connect with her across all the social media platforms, connect with every one of them, every single one of them. Fantastic voices, fantastic individuals. Connect with Grace Amoka, connect with these lovely human beings. And of course, last one representing the UAE, connect with Ifiok Ikiago. And that's all for the intro right now. We go straight to the meat of the matter. Today's show is going to be an express kind of show. And we already have someone bright and early, eager to show our face and our fine smile this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Being followed. I told you she was going to smile. We can't hear you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning to the Good Morning Education tribe. And you're welcome to a beautiful new week and another run through, another other editions of the show this morning. It's always a pleasure to be here, and I hope you had a beautiful, restful weekend and fired up for the new week.
All right. So we go straight to the headlines, and our first headline is Buhari lauds Unilag Senate role in resolving crisis.
Okay, so the crisis resolution, fine, okay, we've heard that. But what I'm hoping that the federal government, or maybe the presidency, or should we now say the president, because they said the presidency is different from the president. So maybe the presidency and the presidents. What I'm hoping that they're learning from this is that crisis can be resolved without it becoming such escalating to real serious levels. I'm hoping they can see that on a smaller scale within the country, people are able to come together to resolve whatever it is that is happening with them internally. So can we scale that up and see and be able to laud the federal government, be able to laud the presidency and the president and say, good job for resolving security issues, for resolving inadequacy in education for resolving every of these other issues. That's my takeaway from this headline.
All right, thank you so much for that. We will believe that, of course, beyond semantics, we know that sometimes there's some reasons to feed off on news, either for diversion or just for being a part of it. And I would say much more than that, right? So we move on to the headline on another twist. This has to do with students. Students fault Umai's 5 million naira tuition fee for new medical varsity.
5 million naira, is that for the duration of the education or for one session, or for, it definitely cannot even be for one semester. It even cannot be for one session. 5 million naira tuition fee has to be over the entire education career in that institution, and maybe including PhD, because I'm wondering if students what value is the state government bringing to, like, how do you justify 5 million naira tuition fee? Really? And if they're saying tuition, it means there are still other things that are not obvious, or that it's not included in 5 million naira. For crying out loud, we're all in this country together. We are seeing what is going on, where people cannot even afford a meal a day. And then the new medical, are we trying to just tell people, are we trying to just tell students to stay away from school? Is that a subtle way of saying, oh, education is not for everybody, it's only, and gradually we're taking away even the basic things from those who are not the rich of the society? Really, that makes medical students will be paying 5 million naira, while non-medical students will be paying between 2 million and for tuition. Okay, they will solve this problem. They will resolve it. But really, this is not considering the economy. On other grounds, if everything was fine, we're just recovering. The economy is just recovering from the COVID pandemic. It's not even, we're just getting out of one phase. Another phase has come up. COVID Delta is on, and businesses are still going to suffer, parents, and then we're proposing a 5 million naira fee, even at 2 million, please.
Are you done?
Or
you want to reverse your analysis?
No. But really, my question is still, is this tuition fee for the entire duration of their study?
No, not duration. It can't be the entire duration.
So if you're going to keep a child in school every session in Nigeria with a tuition fee of 5 million naira, and medicine, they do 4 years, they do 2 years of clinicals, 6 years, at what point? Okay,
but you know, they're trying to prevent the strike realities due to funding. They're trying to also ensure that they have what you would call state-of-the-art facility, just to be able to compete with the best there is, So I think that it's more they are looking at the value,
Okay, so at this point, Governor Mahi needs to register for the grants development webinar. You can fund the university without putting everything on top of the children's heads, please.
It's you that will be quoted, not me. I'll be willing to facilitate that session though. Well, let's have the next news. I want you to read it and analyze it. Please read and analyze.
Lists Oni of Ife, Sokoto appointed as Buhari names chancellors for 42 universities. Well, I don't really see this as news because all the, from as far back as we know, chancellors of universities are usually royal fathers from different parts of the country. So, except they're changing something in maybe appointing chancellors, except something different is happening this time around. It's really not news. Yeah, we knew the universities are going to get chancellors, maybe new chancellors or whatever. They're going to get chancellors. We already knew that they were going to be royal fathers. So there's really nothing new there.
All right. So I think that for now we could just, go straight into the conversation of the day, and then from there we'll just talk. And well, it's just been an interesting period, all the same. So let's have the conversation of the day, and then we'll talk about health consciousness for educators. So today on the show, on the Good Morning Education show, we believe that we need to take a break away from sometimes the regular things that would have had conversations on. And let's talk about health consciousness. A lot has been happening in recent times, and a lot has also been happening, across the social media space. And it's just almost important for us not to turn a blind eye or deaf ear to the realities that some of our people are facing. I know that teaching, I know that educators, I know that the teaching profession is quite a demanding one, especially for those who are selfless, are resourceful, are passionate, and are putting all their energy and their skills and their best into what they're doing. However, we also know that sometimes, especially in this part of the world, there are statements like the shelf life of work is actually a bit longer than the shelf life of a human being. What it simply means is that longevity for work seems to be continuous, while life in itself seems to be contained. I don't know if you know what I just interpreted in English. So, and some other people also say that work does not end. While sometimes it sounds like a mantra from lazy people, but it's also a factual statement that there's a loop with work. But then, if you're not careful, you must understand that you are responsible for the driver for work. And so let's talk about the consciousness of health for educators out there, whether you're a teacher, you're a lecturer. We've had different things, and there's so many things. So let's bring this starting point, right? What's your take on this subject matter? And let's hear from you, Finn. Over to you.
This is something that we really need to talk about. This is something that we probably don't pay enough attention to as individuals, as individual educators, as organizations, as institutions, as education institutions. It's something we don't pay attention to. And realizing that, if a teacher is not around, not many schools have substitute teachers that they can easily call to say, oh, please help us fill in for this teacher that is not around. Or you're likely going to have, if one teacher has to be away for the day, you're likely going to have another teacher leaving their own class or covering that class alongside their regular class. And so you see that where you're trying to where you're trying to cover for one person, you're putting more pressure on another person. And the teaching profession is one profession where you don't get to take leaves. The only breaks that teachers have is during holidays, and that is not even, they don't even have the full holiday for break, because you have to be back in school before the kids resume. You have to work on your scheme of work, your program for the year, or at least for the first half of the term, if not for the entire term, and all of that. And it's so easy in the middle of all of that to lose sight of the health of those keeping the system running. It's very easy. I know that the stress, especially for teachers who really put their everything into it, sometimes it's worse than people in some other professions. But people just generally think, you're a teacher now, what are you doing? You go to school, you 8 to 2. It's not 8 to 2 any longer. For some teachers, it's as long as from 7 till like 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And they keep going like that, hardly having any time, hardly having any time to rest from school. Some do private lessons, so they're leaving the school and dashing right on to private lessons to just make sure that they make ends meet. But it's important, even if the institution is not going to give time or factor it into, oh, this is the program to look after the health of our teachers, reduce the workload or spread it, or do something to ensure that teachers are not breaking down, that teachers are not. Just last week, I read the story of somebody who was saying she didn't know how to console her daughter. Her class teacher died overnight. The girl was in school on Thursday and had a really, in fact, so like had a special time with the teacher that day while they were on the field for physical and health education class. And then the next day, they just woke up to the news that the woman died in her sleep. And she said her daughter had become inconsolable and all of that. We're having too many of that. Too many teachers cannot even take out the time to go do a proper health check, because the time when they're supposed to go, they're in school. They're putting their all into it, and they just keep managing and keep pushing and keep pushing. And this is a job that is both physically and mentally tasking. There is a need to be able to unwind. There is a need to be able to distress. And what I would say, well, as opening, is that the onus of your health lies on you. As the educator, you really need to take your health seriously, because without it, you really cannot perform, and you really cannot be everything you want to be. You can't give the best to the school. You can't give your employer what they expect. So it lies on the individual to say, look, my health above every other thing, and I'm going to look out for myself and ensure that I'm in top shape, and I keep it at that.
Thank you very much. Just while you were speaking, the safety chick joined in. Good morning, Ugochi. How are you today? Safety chick, are you there? Good morning. The mic is on mute. Hey, let me just say that I think it was network issue. So you mentioned something, and I want us to piggyback on that. You said something about most teachers don't have breaks until holiday period. And if that is the case, then I need us to look at it from a different point of view, which means that, so let's talk about how do we separate, is it possible that we separate work break from health break? If it's possible, then how do we describe health breaks? And I think I should throw that question to Ugochi. Ugochi, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Rotimi. Good morning, Kay. Good morning to all our amazing listeners.
Yeah. So, what do they call it? I was asking a question and I said that Sophie was sharing with us that most teachers have breaks during holidays, which is more or less like their own work break. So I'm now saying that if we can classify work break, can we also classify health breaks? If that's so, would you like to share with us what that would now have to be?
Okay, so well, I don't think an organization might give you a health break, except maybe, for example, you have to take a particular treatment that maybe requires a long time. So, maybe, for example, you had to go through surgery, or maybe you are going through a particular kind of illness that needs more time than the required sick day that HR provides per year. So, I know that they can provide something like that. However, I know that what you mean in this case now is maybe like an educator taking a special time out, to just rest and take care of their own health and stuff like that. So your organization may not give it to you in that sense. What they will give you is your normal break. Now, you, the educator, have to take responsibility and create a time for your own health break, because you realize that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You see, many times we put ourselves under so much pressure. We're doing so much, forgetting that if we drop dead today, or we have a health condition that makes us unable to work, maximum is maybe you might get compensated. They might do 1 minute silence, but they're going to get a replacement. So you've got to understand that you are the value. You are the person that is important for the work to be done. And since you are important for the work to be done, you must invest in your health. So whether it means you taking some time during your break to sleep, to rest, to take your supplement, to be intentional about what goes into your body, all those things are really important. So sometimes people tell me, oh, you're so busy, Me, I just laugh because, sometimes I am busy sleeping. Yes, because it's my personal time. I choose what goes in there because I know that I can't pour from an empty cup. You don't me, you're laughing. It's true. So people tell me, you're so busy, The truth is, yes, I have a schedule, right? But my schedule is not that busy that I'm struggling, I'm overwhelmed. No, I am not. Because I know what I need to do in order to be at par to perform the kind of work. Most especially those of us that do a lot of work that is this our brain. Okay, not that the others don't use their brain, but you get what I mean. Creating from that inner place, you need a certain kind of rest, a certain kind of quiet, so that you're able to allow those creative juices to come out. And you can't do it if you're just going. If all the time blocks in your day are filled up back to back to back to back. So it's the responsibility of the educator to create a system around their life that allows them to eat right, take necessary supplements, do exercises, sleep, just rejuvenate, even do things that make you relax and laugh and chill. Somebody was telling me that they are surprised I watch films. Please, why will I not watch films? Okay, so I'm going to stop there, Mr.
Rotimi. I really want to discover more about it. Now I know you are busy sleeping, you watch film. Who knows what next will make top 5 lists of Ugochi Unveiled on the Good Morning Education Show. But really, I think that's why we need to understand that the topic says health consciousness. And it's very funny that it might not look as if it's something that actually has an effect, but I totally agree with you that laughter itself is like medicine.
Yes.
Because I don't know whether you've sensed this or you've noticed this. Imagine you are with a group of friends and you're having a jolly good time and you're talking and people are laughing. By the time you're done, maybe with a meeting or the get together, whatever it is, you just feel a bit lighter. You feel
lighter.
There's something doing, yeah. So it's like, okay. So and sometimes people say, we should have this more often, Now,
exactly.
It's not because people want to play or because people are looking for something to just faff around with. But it's the effect, and people are speaking from the depth of their being that, you know what, this actually feels great. You know, I actually have some friends who deliberately, you know, I remember two, deliberately, they meet every month, deliberately. So I don't know whether it's the first
Part
week
of the
or the last
schedule.
week. It is, there's no, except someone is probably out of the country, and then but I think they're about four in number. So the others must meet deliberately, and then when they meet, is either they go out or they sit over a meal. You know, it's not, it's there, they can talk business as well, but it's not a serious meeting. It's not designed to be formal. It's like, let yourself feel free. These are your own inner circle, so there's no real need for
Yeah.
that kind of performing and all those things, and that helps to sustain their friendship. But I think it's also a mechanism to make sure that you balance, you know, going through life, going through your everyday routine. Sometimes you need to replenish, you need some level of how do I call it now, recharge. You know, so that can actually be a good avenue. I think so, and it actually contributes to this topic that we're talking about. Fee, what do you think?
Yeah, it actually is very, very important. I know that while I was teaching, while I was actively teaching, one of my colleagues, one of the things we usually did was on Fridays, because she really loved cooking. So she would bring some things to the class, we would have a mini party. She could make smoothies, she could make salads, she could make so we will just sit down, and once the kids are out, sometimes we lock the door because we still have to be in school anyways. So we lock the door sometimes. I know there was a time we made EBA in the class. You know, it was something that you don't really do. It's not something that anybody that would, but we just decided, look, we're not going to kill ourselves over taking care of work and then not looking after ourselves. And sometimes we'll say, okay, so this weekend we're going to watch a movie. If both of us could not make it, one person will just let our hair down and get out. Because the truth of the matter is, we're dealing with, for educators, you're dealing with life, you're dealing with children here. They can try your patience to the point where if care is not taken, you're putting so much on your heart, you're putting so much pressure on yourself that without even realizing it, you're working yourself up. You're getting to the point where you're shutting down mentally because there is a lot that you have to do. And at the same time, you don't want to be shouting and ranting and being the horrible teacher to the kids. So it's very important to find that place. But what I find disturbing is that educators don't usually do these things like come together, collaborate, and say, okay, so Saturday or maybe after work on Friday, we're all driving down to the cinema, or after work on Friday, we're all going to take a swim. Also, if they're able to come together to the, you're laughing, more times than not. We're at each other's necks. We're trying to prove that, oh, I do better than so and so person. I do that. We don't need all of that. That's part of what is adding to the stress that we're going through.
It's too
But if you can
unnecessary
say, okay,
competition.
thank you. In fact, we don't even need to leave the school premises sometimes. We may say, oh, after work on Friday, we're using maybe the school cafeteria or the staff room or something. We just play music and relax and just put work aside. It's something that we need to come together to say, look, we realize that we are not superheroes. We realize that we're not superhuman, and there's the need for us to take a break and look out for ourselves. And also, you know, see this thing about educators putting so much into, well, we know that many teachers are not well remunerated, but it doesn't mean you should kill yourself in trying to make up for it. So you're leaving school and you have two other private lessons. You fill up your weekends with, oh, I'm taking this child, I'm taking that child, I'm marking this script, I'm marking that. You just jam the entire time with so much. When school is on holiday, you're away doing one thing or the other that doesn't even give you time to sit back and say, look, I want to relax. And someone called me yesterday and said, are you busy? I said, it depends on what you mean by busy. He said, I'm not seeing you online. He said, I knew where he was going, but he said, I've not seen you online all day. I said, well, I have stuff to do. What's on my schedule today is to relax and take it easy. And then he's like,
Take care of yourself.
Exactly. He kept going and going. So you mean you were not doing laundry? I've been sending you messages, you didn't respond. Brotherly, this is me time. This is me time. This is time for me to sit back and get ready for the week ahead of me. I don't have to. The fact that I choose to use my Sunday to watch movies does not make me a lazy Nigerian youth. It doesn't make me a lazy anything. It doesn't make me irresponsible. It only means that I'm getting myself ready to be able to give my best to the week ahead of me. And this is one thing that educators, because we say these things more, that the idle hand is the devil's workshop. We try to get our students busy all the time. Once you see some children playing, you say, okay, it means that you don't have anything to do, I'll find work for you. So it's the forte of educators to always fill time, to always fill all the gaps we have with one thing or the other. But it doesn't have to be that way. There is a time for you to just sit down. Look, one of the things I like to do is water watching. I love to watch bodies of water. I love to watch the sky.
You should be living abroad, okay?
Shay. I love nature. And so sometimes I just want to sniff the smell of the water. This could help us sometimes to just decompress, just stress.
At one point in time, Safety Chick was seeing things from the extraterrestrial. You are sniffing water. your eyes on a different level.
Yeah, it's a needed high.
Yeah, okay. I think that we need to just help, pacify some things for people out there. And I would like to ask Safety Chick. Of course, the concern now becomes, is this not running to cost? We'll talk about all these things that Finn mentioned, and even what you mentioned and all that. And then people come back to the Naira and Kobo effect, the pound, the dollar effect. What do you have to say? Are there health conscious habits that does not gravitate towards the pocket being drained? And then even at that, please, let's hear your thoughts on this.
Okay, so yes, I understand that, at the end of the day, the first thing that people will begin to think is, oh my God, how much does it cost? How much does it cost? So there are many things that you can do that do not cost as much or may not even cost anything. So for starters, let's even say rest, sleep. You're not paying for it. All you just need to do is block out some time. I take nap. Yes, I have to start with sleep, because many times when we are actually sleeping, our body has some chance to repair itself, to just cool off from all the extra work we have done, and you are not paying for that. So you don't even need to go to a spa to get a massage for that to happen for you. If you have extra money, of course, from time, book in having maybe a massage every month or every quarter if you can afford it. But if you can't, just even sleeping. Just sleeping is fine. That's
my
one.
birthday gift.
Yes, I'm coming to see you tomorrow. Coming. Let's focus. Number 2, exercise.
Okay,
Number 2, exercise. Now, exercise is another thing again. It helps release the right hormones that make you active, helps works on your mind and all that. And I know people will say, I don't have money to go to gym. You don't need to go to the gym. You can do brisk walking around your house, 15 minutes per day. Just 15 minutes. You can do brisk. You can take your time doing it. Don't worry whether neighbors are saying, hey, what is going on? No, it's not their business. It's you. You know what you're trying to do. And then there are certain apps that have different kinds of exercises that you can do in your home. For For example, there is a Better Me app. It has different kinds of exercises you can choose from. There are certain exercises that you can watch on YouTube. So I know that people normally recommend these HIIT exercises because within like 15 minutes, you are able to work out your whole body. And there's something about working out that, releases the right hormones, makes you feel refreshed, even energizes you for the day ahead. You are not paying for it. If you have money, you can go to the gym. But even though that one, watching on YouTube. Now you might say, oh, you don't have maybe data to always watch. How about you find a particular HIIT video on YouTube that you really like and you sync with, and then you download from it so you have it permanently on your device, so that all you just need to do is just to keep rewatching and following the moves. Do you see what I mean? Then eating right. Eating right is also critical. So we know that we've heard so much about how our food is no more as nutritious as it used to be, and all those sort of stuff. So a health nutritionist, Azian, she always says, try to eat foods that are closer to the color of when it came out from the farm. That's a rule of thumb to how to you to know the amount of healthy food you are eating, right? So find a way to integrate fruits and vegetables into your diet on a daily basis. Can you integrate taking an orange a day, an apple a day, a banana? Again, I will say that you might start looking at the cost. Buy the fruits that are in season, because when they are in season, they are a lot and they are cheaper. Okay, so find a way to integrate it into your diet. If you can't do a day, ask yourself, can I sustain this maybe twice a week or weekend? But just find a way, work with your own life schedule, your budget. There is something for every budget, trust me. And then if you don't have the extra funds, then go the step further to buy supplements. But don't just buy supplements because they say we should buy supplements. Speak with your doctor. What is the best supplement that can help me here? Do I need to buy vitamin C, or maybe if you're a woman, is it going to be well woman? For a man, is it going to be well man? Or just ask question, because again, depending on your own underlying health conditions, there might be some supplements that might not work for you, but it is working for other people. So that's why you must speak with your doctors. So you can already see that with this, if you go with the things that are either cheap or very or lesser price, the thing you might not actually need to spend money on might just be a few. So that way you don't feel the burden. And so again, cut off on unhealthy things from your diet. Drink a lot of water. Last year in 2020, when I was writing my goals for the year, one of the things I wrote is I was going to drink more water per day. I was very specific about how. And guess what? 2020 was the year I drank more water than I've drank in my entire life. That was because I was intentional about drinking water. And it followed me into 2021. I'm also drinking a lot of water. Every time near my bed, there is a bottle of water. On my work table, there's a bottle of water. So as I'm seeing it, I know I'm drinking it. So you've got to help yourself. Cut out fizzy drinks. So now this one, I know that there's people that may, for example, they love a particular soft drink a lot. So if you say, cut it off, it's like, hey, God, this thing, I will just die. You will not die, my dear. But what you can do is you can reduce the quantity. You can start with, if before you used to take two bottles of soft drink a day, you can start with reducing to one a day. Then before you know it, one in 3 days, then one a week. Just gradually, we remove them. And then, okay, also they normally say artificial sugars, that we should remove artificial sugars from our diet. There are other healthy options that we can use. So if you actually just sit down with yourself and think through, what are the things I can add on a budget? What are the things I can get free? You can actually create a plan. And then over time, as you now make more money, because you see the benefit, you've got to now be intentional about allocating money in your monthly budget for your health. It's for your own good, because it's your body that you're going to live in. And you really don't want, when as the years go by, you're going to get worried about, your body is no longer at par. You have this vision of things you want to do, but your body cannot carry you. Every visionary needs their body to achieve the things they want to achieve. So it's really critical.
Thank you very much.
I'll stop there, sir.
Thank you so much. Now we see that you're drinking more water, sniffing more water. Maybe I'll use that as a success clue. So maybe 2021, I will bathe with more water.
No, you always stay and be receiving steam. Mystical Mr. Rotimi, I've not forgotten. you stay in the, is it not you are busy thing? That will stay in the bathroom
Extra
and steam.
hot water, yes, so very extra hot water and stomach. Yes, it's still the water therapy.
That's
And
when they
just stay
come
there and
down.
be
That's when they
thinking.
come down. The
Okay.
spirits.
Okay. Now.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. So now I noticed that while you were speaking, I'm sure a lot of people would definitely understand that if we really want to practice health consciousness to the real core, there has to be lifestyle change. There has to be lifestyle change. And for lifestyle change to happen, there also has to be mindset change because, I recall having a training with some school leaders, and I asked the question. It sounded funny, but it was the real truth. I said that what's the most expensive amount you've spent on food on yourself? And people were telling me 500 naira, 700 naira. Some of them were like 400 naira. And most of the time, people are thinking that why should they even eat out? Why should they spend money on food? And this are talking about maybe swallow, roadside food, and all those things. I said to them that what about all these other options, and then they should give themselves a treat. They're like, for what? Why are they wasting money?
Okay.
And I said, but you're the one working to deliver the money, so you deserve a treat. And it led to a lot of, conversation during that class, which really I had to tell them that I think it was a mindset thing because a lot of people don't feel deserving. A lot of people don't feel deserving. And I remember when I listened to a conversation from Les Brown. That was when he fought cancer so many years ago, and then he came out. He came out of that cancer saga, and he said to himself, he said he had to tell himself that if there's anything else, yes, he's achieved success monetary wise, but he looked at the fact that he wanted to be around long enough. That was his mantra, that he's planning to be around. When he says around, it means alive. That of course he's not the controller of life, but his aim is to be around long enough. And for that to happen, there are things that had to shift, there are things that had to stop, there are things that he had to start doing, and honestly, there are things that don't necessarily have to freak you. But if you look at that mantra and you look at the lifestyle change, you look at the mindset change, how do we bring this in such a way? Because sometimes if you leave people to themselves, they might start and stop, they might start and not finish, they might not even start at all. How can we incorporate this, from colleague to colleague, from employer to employee, from industry to industry? How do we encourage or integrate that? Right? Titi, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm late. Really late. I'm really sorry.
No problem. So let's have Finn answer that.
Oh, okay. So schools usually have those things where when you plan the school calendar, you have the health week, you have the literacy week, you have the numeracy week, and all of that. And I think it's time that we started including some of these things consciously for teachers, where it is compulsory. Like you have the health week for children, where they have dental checks, they have hand washing, they have all of that, where it becomes important for teachers to check their blood pressure, check their sugar level, check their cholesterol level. Depending on their ages, there are different things that they would need to check at different times. And to have health talks for teachers, already know that they really don't have that time to go out, maybe attend seminars or conferences or anything, even if it's online. They can't take out the time because they are needed in class at that time, so they can't log on. So why not bring them in? I remember at the time at one of the places that I worked, a doctor was brought in to talk to women about period pains. And my goodness, the questions that day, in fact, at a point, the head of school had to say, no, we need to do this more often, because this is something that
Hello, Finke.
every woman could say, I had issues with. Can you hear me?
All right. I think, Fee, are you back?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so
Carry on, please.
as much as schools and school management need to do this consciously, look at what is peculiar to the men. Brings a specialist, let them be able to talk to them on within the school premises. Let them ask questions, and when they need to do tests, give time. If it's going to disrupt the school timetable for them to have to go to the hospital, bring people within the premises, let them do this test, so that you can have one person doing the test while another is in class, and then they take turns like that. And then apart from that, educators need to begin to see each other not as the enemy, not as the so that you can bond to have some of these things done. Like when Ugochi was talking, it just like seriously, there's some of these things that we can do together. I mean, one of the times that I ate very healthy in my life was because I had a co-partner who was a health freak. In fact, up until now, she's still into all this healthy eating, chai seeds, pudding, and all of that. For me, healthy eating stopped at just take fruits, be sure that you're doing your exercise and all. But she will go the extra mile to say, oh, what can I use in place of this? What can I add to this? What would add? And because of that, it encouraged me, because she was always checking, and we're always checking with each other. What are you doing with this? Or how are you feeling with this? Even some tests. Oh, we need to do this test. And we were able to check on each other like that. To the point I didn't know that the weight loss I had been trying to work on was actually happening at that time. And someone saw me and said, wow, what happened? I said, oh, it's just work. But later I realized it wasn't just work. I was also eating right. I was also doing checking the right things for me to do. So incorporating it is us coming together to say, number one, school management saying that, look, this thing is important, and we're going to bring it in consciously, not just for the students, because who keeps your children, who keeps the classroom running? It is these teachers. If they break down, if they're not able to function, then the kids are just there. And lastly, I would just say that apart from the physical, educators need to consciously take care of their mental health. Consciously. You have to take care of your in fact, there's so many things that they're carrying, there's so many things on your heart. Sometimes children tell you things and it begins to weigh heavy on you, and you're feeling, oh my, how is this child going through? You get to know some things. And even apart from that, there are personal issues also that educators face, not just educators, everybody, but really we also need to take care of the mental health. Health is holistic, it's not just physical. Take care of the mental health. Ensure that you may be eating right and doing your exercises right and drinking all the water and swimming in all the water and everything. And yet your mental health is taking its toll on you, and could be this a very, very silent killer without even realizing it. A lot has gone wrong in the system. Laugh a lot. There is nothing. The world is too. Don't tight the world to your chest. And that's the best I can say. Don't tight it to your chest. Laugh. Let things go. Don't hold grudges. Just let it go and free your mind.
Can I add something to what Fee said on how educators can also, add it to what they do?
Please do.
Okay, so in addition to all what Fee has mentioned, I'm going to say that use triggers to help you. So, for example, you can use the alarm on your phone. You can have an alarm that when it goes off, what you see on your screen is, have you drank water today? Or have you eaten the fruit this week? Something like that. Those are triggers so that in case you are not used to taking it, you begin to remind yourself, So if, for example, if your alarm goes off at night, for example, my alarm goes off every quarter, reminding me of something I want to do at every quarter of the day. And I've been doing it since 2019 and I'm so consistent now. So it's the same thing. You can bring alarms to remind you of certain health habits that you want to do. Oh, have you drank water today? Have you taken a fruit today? Have you exercised for 15 minutes? You can even be very specific so that you are accountable.
Thank you so much.
Another thing is make the things that would help you to achieve that goal beautiful and attractive. So, for example, if you say you want to drink water, then maybe make water bottles are available around you, beautiful ones, so that when you see it, you really want to drink water. It helps.
All right, we've had a lot of water counsel today, and I'm careful that we do not encourage some people to go and take their own innovation with water. By the time you are sipping water, drinking water, bathing water, maybe some people are jumping into water. I don't want it to be that situation. Well, so let's move over to Titi. I'm sure Titi will have a different twist to the conversation.
I was just trying to sit down and think of just putting together what Fee and Safety Chica said. As a person, me personally, what has worked for me, what hasn't helped. I think the first thing is the education. When you attend all these sessions, they give you that period of awareness. I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. So I think infusing that every term intentionally will be a good one. I think the other thing that also helps is mandatory tests. There's some places that you work in offices. The airlines are very popular, famous for things like that, where there's some routine checkups that you must do. They must check up on certain things. And the other organizations do that. I think those routine checks also help serve as what Safety Chick is saying, your alarm clock. It reminds you, if you go and do a medical check and it then tells you about your cholesterol level being high or your BP is high, then it allows you to know that, okay, you need to implement certain things to do that. I think those things are also good if those things can be implemented. Just some basic checks, looking at what are the things that most educators normally suffer from and how do you check them. And I think lastly is also having those fun activities that allow us to bring it home and make it real. So when you have all this, today is aerobics and dance Saturday, and everybody's encouraged to be there, both the teachers and all those things help you help you practicalize it. Or how it is your one of the it is your bring your fruits to school day, where throughout this week we are doing healthy foods, no snack, those unhealthy snack allowed. I think when we didn't have those things, also causes all of us to kind of regulate. Not all of us are disciplined.
Become intentional.
Not all of us are intentional. Some of us need help along the way until we have a wake up call. Which is why I say that those is a combination. You're laughing. It's a combination of all those things. So, for instance, COVID was really a period of inactivity for a lot of us, and I was guilty of that. We were not going to church. That thing of walking to your car when you park far from church. The other thing that gave us intentional exercise that we were not aware of. Then, end of COVID, a lot of us have put on weight. Honestly, it was like weighing myself because I was, wasting time weighing myself because in my heart I knew the result. But when I weighed myself, the way I screamed, my husband was like, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" I screamed at my weight. I was like, eh. So that's why I said it's a combination of all these things. It's a combination of there's the awareness, it's a combination of you having periodic tests that allows you to bring it home. Because when you hear sometimes of people's problem, you think it's their own. When you then go and take a test or do or whatever, they then brings them that, oh, you yourself have something to work on. When you also have a system around it that forces you into that. So when your school does this something marathon that everybody must be part of, or does this aerobics and something that everybody, it then forces you into some of those health conscious checks. We all need that. We all need, except those very disciplined people, we all need those checks, people that guide us along the way. One of the things I liked most about one of my kids' primary school was that it was only water all week except on Tuesdays. So that helps force, us parents to get our children into the healthier style of drinking water. So that's why I said some of us need that regimented guidance. If not, we fall back to our bad ways. I'll leave it at that.
I really like that though, about what that school did. That's so good. That's so good. I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy as a parent because it meant that we bought a carton of Capri Sun and it lasted the whole term because it was only for this. So I really embraced it, from a cost perspective. Oh my. Now I'm eating booze and the grass. So yeah.
Well, I believe that everyone listening to us would definitely have a clue on what to do to ensure that they are health conscious. I think also that routine test should not be left to the schools. The individual should actually try to do that, especially when you know how you subject yourself to work, the kind of work you subject yourself to. You should do some checks, your blood pressure and all those things, sugar level, all those things. They are very important. It will help in most cases. And then, of course, normally people should also explore their kind of fashion. Some people are slay queens. So you have them on 6 inches. And if you are not careful, your slaying queen begins to self-slay. So I tell your blood, he's having blood clots because of high heels. Please find some trainers or Skechers to wear if you have to. All right, so we've had a great time on the show, and I believe that a word is enough for the wise. Treat water friendly. As our analyst has said, you can sip water, you can drink water, you can sleep, and you can be busy sleeping. In fact, that's the quote of the day. You can be busy sleeping.
Now you are busy.
I'm sure that if people were outsourcing sleeping, Safety Chick will make money. He'll sleep on behalf of other people.
No, I only need my own because as much as I sleep, I work. So that my own sleep is critical.
Okay, as much as I work, I sleep. How about that?
Yes, so as much as can you imagine one day on radio, somebody said, and what do you do for fun? And I was like, that I sleep. She was like, you sleep? I'm like, yes. Why do you guys think I don't sleep? If I don't sleep, I won't be able to function.
Well, really, I think we need to explore also what's being said. Having a deliberate kind of meeting where you meet with your colleagues, friends, and just connect, have fun, laugh, play together, so that it also kind of acts as a recharge.
Olatunde Adebayo's comment.
Yes.
A good way to end the show.
Okay, would you read that please for us, Titi?
Okay. Olatunde Adebayo is saying health consciousness is not really in our culture of living, particularly in Nigeria. Has the government mandated private education providers to have regular routine health reports submitted periodically? Do we have schools that sign memorandum of understanding to partner nearby hospitals for the provision of healthcare services for their staff? So very valid point. There are a lot of things we can do more.
Yeah. This is actually something that should be in the as part of the medical procedure in any school, where you have a relationship with a hospital around your school. And it's not just for the student. Many people think, oh, it's in case there's an emergency for the student. No, it is for everybody within that school premises, because anything can happen to anyone. So it's not when somebody now slump, they are running around looking for where to take the person to. That is the time to move to swift action, because this hospital in your vicinity knows about you, knows about the organization, and you people have a partnership that if anything goes beyond the first aid box or sick bay in school, you are coming to them. So that's part of what is supposed to be within your safety policy and safety management system for your school. Thank you so much, Tunde, for that. It's really important.
On that note, we're going to be saying goodbye at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
It's always a great morning.
On the Good Morning,
on the Good Morning
Education
Show.
Show.
Bye.
Bye.